Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the M&K Productions Podcast. I'm your host, Mac, joined here as usual by my co-host with the most, Kristen, aka Miss Flamingo. Say hi to the folks at home, Kristen.
Hello. How you doing?
Doing good, doing good. We just get started with this year of podcast. We're gonna have two episodes in the month of January, which is a little bit rare lately. We've been spreading out a lot of the episodes, but we got renewed focus this year. We're gonna start to make strides to make this podcast one of the premier podcasts in the film. Uh, we want to be in the top 10 for film podcasts, film and TV.
I would love that. 10-year goal. We're 5 years into this programming and doing this show. So let's see if we can make it.
Well, we got to
I have
100
hope.
episodes, so that's a good start, and
We're
we're on
getting
the verge of hitting 150. So I think
$150. It's
that
coming
is
in
amazing.
strong.
Yes, we're doing excellent. Well, technically, you want to be it's 150 because with the rebranding, but but it's neither here nor there. We don't get logistics, but we got another good episode for you today. So on today's episode, we will be going over our top 10 worst films of 2024. So you may have already seen the video on our channels, or I posted my top 10 on my channel on YouTube. Kristen posted hers on Instagram, so already have it out there. But we figured we kind of combine them and talk a little bit more about why these 10 films we picked were truly the worst films of the year, and kind of compare. And we went on Talking TV, aka Dom, our good friend Dom's channel a few weeks ago. We did a live stream talking about our the worst films of the list, as well for 2024. And me and Kristen, we came to the conclusion that we share a brain, because our lists are eerily similar, minus some movements and detractors. So our lists are eerily similar.
Yeah, interesting enough, we both have like the same one in our top 10. For those of
Yes.
us who follow us and listen to us and saw the Talking TV, I saw your video first, and then I was like, because I posted my top 10, and then I saw your video, and I
Uh,
was like, oh man, we got the same top 10. Great minds think alike.
yes, so let us get into our top 10 worst films of 2024, and I'll start off with my number 10. So at number 10 for me, I got Amazon Prime's Jackpot, directed by Paul Feig, with Aquafina and Juan Cena in the movie. I've said before, I'm not really a big Paul Feig fan. I think his films are good. I like Bridesmaids, but a lot
Yeah,
of his comedy is very just not it for me. I think the last good movie he did was probably Spy, the first Spy,
I loved A
or
Sense of
Spy.
Favor. I think that's my favorite Paul Feig film, along with Bridesmaids. I think those are the best ones, and I think the last few years he's tanked. But yeah, go ahead.
But Jackpot was very just dumb, kind of like, oh, PG-13 comedy. We have Aquafina, and I'm not like a big Aquafina hater. I think she's funny, but I get her shtick gets annoying. John Cena was good in this because I think that people have now realized how to utilize him as a comedic actor with action elements, which is funny. And then the Shang-Chi was in this movie as the villain, which was pretty dumb. But I mean, the concept's cool. You win the lottery, you have to survive for 24 hours to get the money, which is kind of cool. Sean William Scott has a cameo for like the first 10 minutes in the movie. And then it's very shallow. MGK made a cameo. Just a very forgettable, just
I
nothing.
hated that
And
MGK cameo.
it's like I put it at number 10 because it's not a good movie, but it's not like the worst. It was actually sort of fun, and that's why I had it at number 10.
That's fair. Do you want to go with your number 9 and number 8, and then we'll all do my next 3? Then I'll do my
Sure.
3.
And number 9, I got The Killer's Game with Big Dave Batista and my girl Sofia Boutella. Hint, hint. This is not the only film that she's in. This is in the top 10. This is the movie where I was really excited about the concept. I love Batista as an actor. I think he's probably one of the better wrestlers turned actors of this generation. So seeing him in a movie like this, like, oh, a nice comedic movie, got some few names in it. It was just super boring. And, I just think that the writing was not strong. The action was okay, but and like it wasn't funny at all. And you kind of knew how it was gonna end as well too. And Killer's Game, it was just super boring. I'm glad I didn't see this in theaters. I waited for this to come on Peacock. But this felt like a Peacock streaming movie, but it was too big to be a streaming movie, so it went straight to theaters.
Especially when you got a star like Dave Batista.
Yes.
But now he's got the streaming films like My Spy and My Spy 2. So he didn't do well with the comedic route, I will say, because he had My
Yeah.
Spy 2 and then this. So I didn't watch Killer's Game. The trailer didn't really catch my interest, but the cast seemed pretty good, but didn't really catch my interest. What's your number 8?
All right, and my number 8 is going to be something that I know people were shocked about, but I have The Crow at number 8. This was on a lot of people's like later in the list, like 6 or 5, and I put it here because it's just like the reboot of The Crow just was not really well received for years when they were trying to develop it. Because remember, they had Jason Momoa cast as Eric Draven, and he dropped out, and everyone's like, okay, it's just cursed, and no one's going to do this. And they're like, hey, Bill Skarsgård is going to be The Crow. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing this. And they're like, who's the director? Rupert Sands. And it's like, if that name sounds familiar, he did Snow White and the Huntsman and Ghost in the Shell. Only one of those movies I saw in theaters. It was the Ghost in the Shell movie.
Yeah,
So,
same.
showing the quality of this, I was just concerned for everything. And that trailer, oof, oh boy. And yeah, this just generally one of the worst reboots I've ever seen in my life. I don't think anyone was asking for a Crow movie. And when I
No,
posted the thing on TikTok saying, "Are you excited for the Crow?" people were just like, "No, just no," and everyone was
nobody
just.
cared for it because nobody saw it.
And then it hinted at a sequel, and I don't think they're gonna get a
Nobody
sequel.
wanted a sequel for The Crow.
This movie made $24 million out of its $50 million budget.
Yikes. All right. I'll jump into mine. We got same thing. Number 10, Jackpot, directed by Paul Feig. I never had a Paul Feig like film. I don't think in my top 10 before. I put it here because, like I said, some of the dishonorable mentions were like indie films. I kind of wanted to acknowledge like a big streamer or a big studio and say, "Hey, you did this wrong. You gotta keep going." These studios, I'm blaming the studios on this one, and this is the one where I blame MGM for taking on a crappy streaming film and turning it into something. Yes, the concept is cool, but Paul Feig, I think, is also losing his spark. I think he needs to take a directing break
Yes.
and do like a revision board kind of adjustment because I was not a fan of like, the Ghostbusters, thing. There's just been so much that like I, seen him attached. I didn't really like Spy to me was just okay. But I haven't seen anything that like wowed me from him in a very, very long time. And Jackpot just showed that anybody could have directed Jackpot. I couldn't even tell this was I didn't realize this was a Paul Feig film until like a month or before it coming out. And I was like, oh, he's the one. Like I remember the cast being attached, but knowing this was a Paul's film, I was like, he can do better than this. So didn't really like Jackpot. Could have been better. Like I said, like the concept, you know. But Aquafina is not too bad here. I think she is better in this film than she was in the Little Mermaid film.
No, no, that's right. She was in that movie.
That's when she was Scuttle. Oh my god, and that Scuttle rap. Oh my god, that movie with that Scuttle rap. I couldn't. I couldn't. You know what? Do you know what I'm talking about? Did you see the live action Little Mermaid yet?
I did, and I completely forgot about it.
Yeah, there was that awful thing. That was an awful scene. Like she was the wrong casting to play Scuttle for that film. Anyways, let's move on to number 9. Number 9, we got Deliverance, directed by Lee Daniels, who teams up with whatchamacallit? I forgot her name. The Golden Globe winning actress. Not Glenn Close, but the one who won for Billie Holiday. What's her face? Andrea Day. Thank
Mhm.
you. Thank you to myself. I'll put myself on the back on that one. But yeah, this was such a mismarked film. This could have been something like that could have been really entertaining. I don't know why Glenn Close was in this film. I just watched Glenn Close in a really other bad Netflix streaming film. I
Mhm.
just watched Back in Action. Glenn Close is a legend. I don't know why she's picking these projects like The Deliverance and Back in Action. She is so talented. I don't know why she's taking on these projects. She was definitely not the part for this Lee Daniels film. This film also had like important themes to share, but the ending of itself is so I can't even put it into words how the ending for this film it just like made me kind of laugh and just be like, all right, we're going down this route. And I was like, all right, Lee Daniels, do your thing. Like and I could tell from following Lee Daniels on social media, he was really passionate about this project, and I was really like hoping to see something really amazing from him because Monique made a huge return to acting, to work with him on this film because they previously, I think they worked together in the past, but they I don't know what happened here. Yeah, they did actually. Thinking back at it now, they worked on together in Precious because that's how Monique won her Oscar. But this was the wrong movie for everybody to sign on for. Maybe this shouldn't have been made. Not a good watch. Not a good streaming watch. Speaking of another streaming watch, we got at number 8. One of my most viewed TikToks was my review of Killer Heat. And oh my God, if you really want to see a really bad Joseph Gordon Levitt film, then this is it. If we thought Pinocchio was bad, then watch Killer Heat. And these lame murder mystery where it's all predictable, then this is it. Everybody signed on this project to take it as a vacation. I guarantee you. I love all these actors involved. I love Richard Madden, who's in this film, who he plays twins. You could probably say where I'm going with that. Obviously, one of the twins dies. Joseph Gordon-Levitt comes onto the scene to figure out why the one twin is dead. Shailene Woodley is in this film, and Shailene Lee Woodley and Joseph Gordon-Levitt did work together in the past in the film Snowden. Nothing in this film works. It's dull. It's boring. It should have been made. This was based on a book, and I didn't read the book. Nobody knew about this film until like a month before it was dumped on Amazon Prime, MGM. And I guarantee you, after watching it on streaming, it made sense it was dumped on to streaming because the film would have made zero money. I mean, where they got to film, I forgot where they even filmed the movie. I think it might have been somewhere like in Italy or Greece or something. It was like a beautiful location, beautiful waters. But yeah, Killer Heat, don't watch it. No, you're number 7.
All right, so number 7, I have one that a lot of people didn't talk about afterwards. I remember when this trailer came out, it got fucking eviscerated. It was Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate. I love the first Megamind movie so much. It's probably one of the best.
It has a huge following.
Yes, it is funny. It has great voice performances by Will Ferrell. Me and my mom quote it to this day. We'd be like, "Hello, it's hello. Oh, hello." It's funny, and everyone's like, "Yeah, we can use a Megamind sequel because it sets itself up for a sequel." And we had a couple spin-offs throughout the years, like the little DVD specials, like TV specials, like the Button of Doom and everything like that. And they're like, "No, we're gonna get a full-fledged sequel on Peacock." I was like, "Okay, cool." Didn't get the voice cast back, so that was kind of concerning. And the animation, oof, oh boy, looks like very badly animated slop. The story was very generic. And actually, the story of Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate is kind of the story that they were poking fun at in Megamind with the whole superhero cliche, like tropes and everything. It was very generic, really boring, and not that good. And the animation, like I said, isn't that well done, and it's bad too because this led into the TV show that they have, the Megamind show on Peacock. And it just helps that we don't have Will Ferrell back as Megamind because that was a very good just performance he did. It was just really sad. I don't even know if anyone came back for the new season of the movie, but I don't know.
I think for Will and everybody on the cast, this was a one-time kind of film, where it's like, okay, we do this one special animated project, we walk away, but then Universal's like, no, wait, let's make money. Let's make more projects.
Well, the thing is like the first one did well, so
Yeah,
like I wouldn't see why they wouldn't be like, oh yeah, we'll make another one. It's like, well, why not?
Mm-hmm.
But seeing how they don't even have the original director back because it was the first director was Tom McGrath.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't get him back. They got Eric Fogel, who's the creator of Celebrity Deathmatch. So, that
that's
just,
your sign there. That's
that explains a lot.
You know, when you realize, like, you know, directors will take different career routes, like to try, oh, I'm going to, instead of directing like a drama, I'm going to go direct a horror film, or I'm going to go try a comedy, you know, to go from reality to be like, I'm going to direct a children's film and be like,
He also did Glenn Martin DDS.
oh God, I remember that show. That show freaked me out as a kid. That I think had some of the worst claymation
It kind of did.
I've ever seen. It was
Judy
so
Greer
bad.
was in the show.
Yeah,
So, man, that's wow.
that's a throwback.
Number 6, I have Imaginary, not to be confused with the Ryan Reynolds movies. If this is the horror movie with the teddy bear, and his name was Chauncey, and it was bad. You know when it's like there's horror movies where people will be like, "Oh, maybe it won't be that bad," or even ones where like, "Man, that looks terrible." It does well at the box office because if it's PG-13, you know, you get all the middle school, high school kids will go see it. They see a horror movie and so they don't like it if they get scared. That's fine.
Hmm.
Imaginary is probably the first horror film I've seen in years where universally everyone's like, "This looks so stupid. We don't want to watch this."
Yeah, it didn't look good. I mean, based on what I saw it, I was like, all right, if I see this, then I see this. And, you know, I never got to see it, but
It is not good whatsoever. It's very tedious. It's boring. It's cliched. It doesn't do enough to stand out from the crowd of horror movies. I believe this is a Blumhouse film too.
yes, it's a Blumhouse film.
Yeah, it just felt like a very typical Blumhouse movie of like, we don't got money. So you're gonna get this budget and you're gonna have fun with it. That's why the teddy bear is the villain for the first 40, 50 minutes of the film, and then we get the we get the I can't talk. We get the monster at the end.
The monster.
Yeah, and it has such a dumb twist. I'd be like, got you. Like you thought that we were gonna go one way with it, but we tricked you. That's not the case. This is gonna be it's like a fake out. And it's like, wow, it's not like we predicted that, and it's so dumb. And they try to be like, hey, well, we might do a sequel. You never know.
Yeah. Uh, I don't see that teddy bear coming back to life or teaming up with Megan. That's for
I think
sure.
they tried. I think they're
They
like,
tried to.
yeah, they're like, yeah, we'll try to do make this like Megan. It just didn't work.
No, but let's move on to your number 5.
Number 5, it's gonna be the other Sophia Boutella movie, which she's a star in, and poor woman, she's a talented actress. Is stuck with this, and that's Rebel Moon Part Two, The Scargiver. I'm I'm so over Zack Snyder, like this whole all these damn like director's cuts. He's the first director I've ever seen that'll be like, I'm gonna make movies that aren't that are director's cut, and you're gonna have to watch the director's cut. And it's like Scar. I didn't like the first Rebel Moon at all, and like they're like, yeah, we're gonna make another one, and that one had a director's cut too, and I'm just like, oh my god,
I didn't even bother watching it. It just didn't fascinate me. This was like Netflix's take on like, let's see if we can make a Star Wars film, like a
it's
outer
pretty much
space
his
kind
rejected
of.
R-rated Star Wars movie.
I mean, and also to be fair, the cast seemed pretty strong, but nothing in the film. Like when I saw the trailer and saw that this was going to be 2 parts, I was like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah, it's
I'd rather watch other stuff.
literally the first, let's say probably the first two like hour is just boring, and it picks up near the end of the movie.
Well, good thing I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, can't wait for part 3 if they ever do a part 3. Good God.
I doubt it. I doubt it. Coming in, and my number 7 is Bryce McGuire's film Night Swim, which is also connected to one of your picks, Mac. Imaginary, where he was. I think might have been attached to this film because it like showed up like on his mentions. Never mind, it's not. Okay, it showed up as like the Google thing, and I was like, let me just double check. Yeah, Night Swim, terrible. And seeing this now, this is based on a short, which I had no idea. Why did Blumhouse turn this into a long feature film? I don't know. Bryce obviously had an idea and it didn't work. Maybe it was a cool short film. I didn't see the short film. I usually tend to do that. I didn't do that here. But Bryce McGuire's film about a haunted swimming pool is so lame and so shallow, you'll want to get out of the pool right away
Get
or
it? It's
press.
shallow.
Yeah, dun dun. Put those little things in. We got Wyatt Russell, Carrie coat on, and I like Wyatt Russell a lot as an actor. He's obviously related to Kurt Russell,
Russell.
and um, I think this was like a quick cash grab for a lot of these people who star in like the little crappy horror films. Like the ending to this film is so silly that it's like what, and nothing in it's scary. I don't like this other dimension that's there. It didn't work. The acting is terrible. Uh, Not much else to it. It's exactly what you expect it to be, a shitty horror film. And I think it's the worst Blumhouse one I've seen besides Halloween Ends. So, all right, coming in at number 6 for me is Dear Santa, directed by Bob Farley. Both Bob Farley and Peter Farley released films this year. Bobby did Dear Santa, and Peter directed Ricky Stenicki, which had Zac Efron and
John
John
Cena.
Cena in it.
Yep.
I think that's the better John Cena streaming Amazon film that got dropped this year.
That was last year, wasn't it?
I
Not
mean, yeah, 2024. Yeah, I still keep forgetting we're in 2025 now. Sorry. I feel like that's what a lot of people, they still say 2024 is the year, but it's really 2025. But yeah, the minds who brought you Dumb and Dumber bring Dear Santa as Jack Black as Satan. Oh my God, Jack Black as Satan.
What?
What? It feels like an old like 90s film, the way it's like came together. It's like they had this script in the back, like Bob Farley had this script like hidden in the back of his closet and be like, wait, I got an idea for a film. Let me just check my junk drawer. And he pulled this out and he's like, let's get Jack Black to play Satan. And this film also feels like it's like two different films. It wants to be like this heartwarming, like family comedy, but also this raunchy Christmas film. It's like a bad take on Bad Santa. You could say it in a way. It's like where it wants to be a comedy like that. But it doesn't work. Nothing in this film works. Nothing has chemistry. The kid in this film is very unlikable. There's some stuff going on that you don't really care about, but this is one of the films that actually made me put to sleep this year out of all the Christmas films I saw, which is very disappointing because Jack Black can entertain an audience. He couldn't do it here, nor could Bobby Farley. So,
What do you think about Jack Black? Do you think he's getting oversaturated right now?
oh yeah, my husband and I talk about it all the time. Like he is one of the actors like I'm actually kind of like I need to walk away from and just like need a break. Like I do want to watch him in Anaconda this year with Paul Rudd, but I just don't want to watch him in like Minecraft.
You think Minecraft is going to be a bomb?
What do you think?
I mean,
That's the question.
it could be good. You never know.
Question mark. It's gonna make money, but I don't think it's gonna be good. I'm not going out to the theater to see it. No, sir. Coming in at my number 5 is Red One, starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Chris Evans, Lucy Liu, and J.K. Simmons, who is barely in it.
He's sleeping. This is the movie I saw when I was sick, and I was just like, "What am I watching right now?"
I think this takes the cake as the worst Christmas film I saw this year. A film that is so artificial. It feels like you're eating the sweetest candy cane alive. Nothing works in this film in terms of the supervillain who was totally miscast. Dwayne The Rock Johnson is basically blaming it himself, where he never loses a battle. Chris Evans is just walking on by, being like, "Yep, I'm getting paid to do this." Yada yada yada. And J.K. Simmons would love to see him as Santa. Love to see him as Santa. Very excited to see him as Santa. Here, it's just like you said, he's sleeping.
Yes.
Just about 98% of the time. Could have been a better Christmas movie. Has no Christmas spirit. It's laying too long of a Christmas film, I also must add. But yeah, it was so dumb for them to release it in theaters. I saw that Dwayne Johnson said that he felt inspired after seeing Oppenheimer to release Red One in theaters
In IMAX, actually.
in IMAX. Do with that information. That's because also nobody saw it because nobody cared. Nobody cared for to see Red One in theaters. There was other stuff to see. Red One was not on people's priority lists.
I saw Red One in theaters and it was magical.
When you were sick, I thought you were watching it at home.
No, I watched it. Me and my dad went to see it, and it was a movie, and I was just like, man, what am I watching? That is just like, and then knowing a few weeks later when I went to go see Gladiator 2, I was looking for the Gladiator popcorn bucket, and the only popcorn buckets they had was a ton of the Red One.
Yeah, every single theater still had leftovers of the Red One
I'm like,
popcorn
no
buckets.
one is gonna get the Slay Red One popcorn
Or
bucket.
the snow globe. Nobody cared. Everybody wanted the arena.
Yeah,
Speaking of which, I saw the press boxes go out to like influencers and stuff.
yeah.
They got the arena popcorn bucket you wanted.
Ugh. Well, the Nosferatu one, I'm gonna try to look for that one.
Yeah, they got to release more of those. I would love to own that, but got to save money. But anyways, are you ready to run it down with our last few picks? What's your number 4?
Yes, so my number 4 is The Strangers Chapter 1. You already know how much I love the Strangers movies.
That's why we never talked about the latest one here. We were going to. That's why we did a whole Strangers episode. We never got to do it
Yeah,
or
well,
discuss the latest. There's a reason.
yeah, so Strangers Chapter 1, the studio said, you know what we need? We need to do another Strangers movie. We need people, like, people are clamoring to learn about the Strangers themselves. And damn it, we did. Chapter 1 came out. This is a new trilogy they're doing to talk about the Strangers, and, you know, it was truly the Strangers movie. It's such a bad fucking movie. This is not a good movie at all.
I do want to watch it just for how bad it is and just be like, when are we getting that part 2? And still just crickets. They worked hard on that film, at least to release it. So
Mhm.
that way you can have some kind of revenue come back if it goes out to streaming or whatever. Or if they decide to be like, all right, we're just going to dump one every year for the next 3 years. And I
Well,
doubt that's going to happen.
what's funny about it is that with this, it's just like, oh, we're gonna learn how the strangers became the strangers. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I don't think I was really clamoring to see what became of them. And when you watch this, it's literally just the first movie.
That's what you said, and I was like, do we really want to rehash this again? Because we just had one back in 2018 with the
I will
same
defend
thing.
Prey at Night. It is a it is a masterpiece.
So, the strangers. What's your number 3?
So number 3, I have Harold and the Purple Crayon, the movie that pretty much made Zachary Levi lose his mind, and that's why we're getting his special movie this year. That's based on a book that people are.
I read it. The Unbreakable Boy.
Yep, I already know what happens at the end, by the way. So that's gonna be interesting in theaters.
All right,
But
we have to talk more about this after what you want to say.
Harold and the Purple Crayon, I remember I read the book as a kid, so I was like, okay,
Yeah,
this is
every
coming out.
child's read it.
I thought
I did
it.
too.
I thought it came out in 2023. I was really wrong with that because I watched it and I was like, man, this is really boring. I did research, and apparently they were developing this the same time they were doing Where the Wild Things Are. Where the Wild Things Are is a great film. It was one of my favorite films of the 2010s. And if this came out around that time, that would have made sense because this film feels very dated. This feels like a 2009, 2010 film.
Yeah, it's just weird seeing Zachary Levi run around trying to have the mind of a child, and acting like this. And
Yeah,
knowing how many times did you watch it? Once?
just once.
I watched it 3 times. Think about that. I fell asleep not once, but twice. And then I skipped. I was like, I'm not watching this any of this crap again. Let me get to the part where I fell back asleep to. And poor Dylan was reading his book when I was watching the movie on the airplane and just being like, "Yep, and that's gonna happen." Like my when I was watching it with Dylan, my husband was just pointing out to me what's gonna happen. I was like, "Oh, okay, it's what you expect Harold and the Purple Crayon to be."
Well, it's
But
sad
okay.
because this could work as like an animated film, but I
I
don't know
think it would
what.
have been interesting though with the concept of animated and like real world stuff.
But
But
it was a big um disappointment. And what's the number two pick I have? Oh my gosh, number two was it was a toss up between one and two. I'll tell you that. And it was Madam Web was number two.
mm-hmm.
You already know we did an episode about Madam Web, legit one of the worst movies of the year. The Sony CEO tried to say, well, these movies aren't bad, the critics are just too hard on it. Keep snorting that hopium, man, because every single one of these Venom versus Sony non-Spider-Man movies were bad. And to try to be like, well, it wasn't that bad, I'm like, you're lying to yourself. Madam Web is, you can't even make the joke of like, oh, it's one of the movies of all time. Like it really isn't. It's very dumb. It's not well made. And like it's just a movie advertising movies that we're never gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's not even like people, oh, is it so bad it's good? No, this is a chore to get through. This was not good. This was not fun to watch. I was not having fun. I was very bored. I remember my dad said, "Oh, you went to go see Madam Web?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, I want me to." I was like, "Dad, I saved you a really good deed by seeing this on my own." And I went. I think opening night. It was probably around opening weekend. I was like one of five people in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Same with my screening. Um, okay, let me finish it off with my number four pick. Gracie and Pedro, Pets to the Rescue. Also, you can say Gracie and Pedro, Mission Impossible. It has two different titles. I don't know why. It's this movie, Mac. I think I explained it on Dom's show. This was sent to me, and I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe we can review an animated film on the show." So I watched it, and I just knew, no, there's no way we're talking about this film. There's no way. It's an awful animated film. This is an independent film, but it's a really bad animated independent film where all the actors from Susan Sarandon, Bill Nighy, Brooke Shields, Danny Trejo, and Alicia Silverstone did it for a quick cash grab. They are all those five main stars I mentioned are barely in the film. The film is focused on this cat and this dog who get separated from their owners and they have to reunite. All the supporting characters are so bad. They like the rats in this film. There's rats in this film that sing. I did not like them. I don't know why they were in the film. They were just the two our main characters that we follow, this cat and this dog, Gracie and Pedro, are absolutely annoying. It's forgettable. It's a poorly put together film. I could see where hard work was put in, but it just was a really bad, like rendered, put together film. It's awful. There was a reason why I don't think it was even released in the United States. It was a UK release. So anyway,
It
uh,
seems like it was a film that was going to be an American release, but then they saw the reception and then said, "Okay, we'll just dump
no
this."
way, no way, no way. They were like, no, 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 no. Number three on my pick is a film you mentioned earlier, The Crow. This film I got to see for free. And I was like, okay, there's a reason why I'm seeing this for free. As I stepped into the theater with my friends to be like, all right, how bad is this going to be? Oh, yeah, baby, it was bad. This was
Yay.
so bad for a Rupert Sanders film. I'll give him a pass on Snow White and the Huntsman and Ghost in the Shell. The Crow is just so, I don't know what everybody was doing while working on The Crow. The action sequences stuff sucked. I don't know why we had Bill Skarsgård starring as our main character here. I don't know if they were going for an emo route or something. They probably were because the way that Bill Skarsgård looks, he looks like the version of Jared Leto we saw back in 2016 for Suicide Squad. FK Twigs and him do not have any chemistry. I don't think M&K Twigs is a strong actress. She hasn't done much acting to begin with, I'll say that, but I just did not like her in this film. Too long of a film. There was a reason why nobody saw it, and Sony didn't do well this year in 2024. This is a reason why it didn't do well, because nobody cared about The Crow. Number two, I look at this film now as I'm going through my notes, and I just feel like I don't want to discuss this film again. But my number two pick is Prom Dates. This is a Hulu American High film about two girls, trying to do something about their prom. I don't even remember this. It was such a lame attempt for like a Hulu version of Booksmart. But Booksmart is a really good, film. That's the one with Caitlin Deaver and Jonah Hill's sister. What's her name? Whatchamacallit? It's gonna give me Beanie Feldstein. And we have that, and it's really good. Directed by Olivia Wilde. We didn't need this film, and it's a streaming dump film. Have you watched any of the American High films that are available on Hulu?
No.
Yeah. I think the concept of the production company in the studio, whatever you want to call it, I think it's a production company from what I remember. Actually, it is. Yes, it is a production company. And their whole office building is a high school. They bought it to make movies there. I think that's cool. Just the films they're putting out aren't good. Lame, they're funny, they're lowbrow humor. And this is just another attempt at their lame watches that gets dumped on Hulu. Sorry, not sorry. All right. What's your number one?
Okay, so number one, which is super, super bad, is Borderlands.
No surprise.
We just talked about it. This got nominated for a Razzie. Um, Borderlands is everything that's wrong with a video game adaptation. I thought we were done with the video game, like terrible video game adaptation movies, and this was just like super bad, miscasted, just edited all the hell. You can tell a lot of work went into post production, and um, it was just super bad. I think with Borderlands, it was something where it should have came out years ago, and it just kind of went through production hell. Jack Black's in it. He's Claptrap, which didn't make a lot of sense, and it was edited down from rated R, mostly for the gunplay and violence, which would have been awesome. And now it was edited down to the uh it was edited down to PG-13 in post production, and you could just tell that it just was not the best executed.
There's a
I
reason
was
why
just
I
broke.
haven't watched it yet,
I
but
was I was broken by this film, and like,
a lot of Borderlands fans were broken. I think. I
well,
feel like I
no,
heard like hearts shattered across the country.
it's the funny thing about this is that the Borderlands fans just knew that it was just shit anyway. And it's not like where it's other video game movies where like, oh well, maybe it'll be good and everything. Like, no, I think as soon as the first news that a Borderlands movie was happening, they were like, what the hell? Well, okay, I guess. And like they had no faith in this movie whatsoever.
Oh, well, my pick is your number two pick, and that is Madam Web,
The
a
fact that this was
movie
on a
I.
this was on a lot of people's low on the list. I was like, why is Madam Web not?
Yeah, like how is Madam Web? I think Sony might have paid them off.
Maybe, possibly.
Maybe they did, unless they thought of like other films. But I think Madam Web was truly a terrible film for a superhero film, and I'm not like saying that. It's also a terrible film too, with everything down where everything is lazy. There's zero direction. The stars did not care. Like there was no excitement for this. You can tell from all the stars being on set and just finding out more of what Sony had to say about it. It just was like it was a train wreck, waiting to crash for it to be on people's year-end list, and it did obviously including mine. And it's no surprise because we chat on it with our good friend Rod, and we did a watch along of it. And I had to suffer through it again. I had to drag my poor husband to this. We were there was only 4 people. You had 5 people in your screening. I only had 4. It was me, my husband, and like 2 other people in this big movie theater that we both had. No, it was my husband's childhood movie theater that he used to go to. And he took me to see Madam Web, and it was opening night, and I felt tortured, just like him all the way through. But I feel like, Matt, as we end the episode, we should say the iconic line of the Amazon rainforest line.
You see, that's the thing. We say it's iconic, and I don't even remember that line word for word. Like, it's not even like Morbius. It's just more like, wait, what'd she say? And I'm like, oh yeah, something about like her mom and the Amazon or something.
Oh,
What was the
he
line?
was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders when she died. I love that line. It is so bad. My husband and I quote it all the time because
I did not. That line was there's so much wrong with that movie.
It just makes your eyes roll to the back of your head. Even as I say it, you're like, what? And Madam Web, you were certainly a treasure for 2024. There was nothing other like it, maybe except for Craven, but nobody cared about that either.
Honestly, yeah. If Craven came out and everyone was like, "Yeah, that was something," and then everyone just kind of
I feel like you could even say if Madam Web didn't even come out, I feel like Craven would have been my number 1, maybe, but I didn't even see Craven yet because I just was like, I'm not going through another Madam Web. Sorry, I can't do it. I was like, no, don't have time for it. But I'll probably watch it at some point because I just got to see how this Sony story Marvel saga ends, So, but those are our picks for the worst movies of 2024. Bring out the confetti cannons.
sad music played, but that's going to wrap up the episode. What do you think in the comments below? What were some of the worst movies you saw last year? Because truly, it was a step down for 2023, but it still had some good in it. But when you knew the fails happened, when the fails happened.
Yeah, I honestly, looking back at it, the bad, you could say were bad. Some of the disappointment were the disappointments. Like Argyle, you can say Joker too. But I thought 2024 was a really, really strong year. I actually had a lot of like picks. I was like, wait, I actually really like this film. Wait, I actually really like this film. Like, like I was like second guessing myself, like and talking myself into being like, oh yeah, this film wasn't that bad. But I didn't think
Yeah.
2024 was that bad.
Mm-hmm.
You just had to go and search for it. So, but yeah, what's the next episode, Mac?
I completely forgot. What is the next episode?
Oh, don't forget. We got to talk about the best. You can't forget.
Yes, we're going to be talking
about. You can't forget about the best.
The best film, which list I have not finished yet because I have to finish writing it because I'm so behind with this list. But we'll have our top 10 best films of the list. There could be some controversial picks on there as well, but once again, everything it is everyone is subjective for their opinion, which is fine.
Yeah, everybody's cool.
Yeah, and we're so close to episode 150. Holy shit.
We're reaching that end mark to 150. It's going to be so beautiful. Not the end of the show. No, the show will never end. This show, it's new, mile mark, I should say.
Yes.
But yes, we're going to do the best, followed up with our episode on the latest Blumhouse film, Wolfman, that is currently out in theaters. And then our 150th episode is actually going to be our Oscar special.
Yay!
So we got more episodes prepared for you all, and we can't wait to share them with you all. We're getting some fabulous screeners sent to us now, so we can't wait to bring them all to you with our thoughts. And it's going to be a good 2024. We're having a little rough start, but we're getting there. We are getting there, Mac.
I'm so excited.
You don't sound it.
I'm like half asleep right now. It's 10 p.m. I've had a very long
It's
day.
10 p.m. Where do you know where your children are? All right, yeah. Let's wrap this up.
This
All
is
right.
someone who is very tired. But yes,
Same.
no, the show's never ending. We got more stuff to come. This year is going to be a big year for us. We got a lot of new opportunities coming, and I'm excited. But until then, I've been Mac. This has been Kristen, and we will see you all in the next episode of the M&K Productions Podcast. Peace.
Bye.